Kuhn, and we're back today with another Milk Crate moment. So today my guest is Elizabeth Bennett, and Elizabeth was a teacher and a school administrator for over 35 years. So listen, that's a Milk Crate moment in and of itself, right? Dealing with kids, and she said she likes teens too. So that's a million Milk Crate moments. As a mother, you can appreciate how many Milk Crate moments this woman has had to have dealing with teens over the years. And I know she said she loves that. So, Elizabeth, welcome to Milk Crate Moments.
Thanks, Jean. Thanks for having me.
I am so happy to have you today because you know what this is about, right? What Milk Crate Moments are about. And our Milk Crate Moments are those um, those pieces of our business. I know after you left teaching, you started your own business. We're
Yes.
going to talk about that at the end, but first, I always like to get to your Milk Crate moment. So, and those are those moments in our business that kind of define us as who we are, right? It's really easy to go to work every day and get paid, right? At the end of 2 weeks, you get a check, right? It's hard when you go to work every day and there's not necessarily a paycheck at the end of the week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, right?
I'm
And
experiencing that at the moment. Yes.
I totally get it. So, what I'd like to start with, Elizabeth, is if you will tell me about your Milk Crate moment, and it could be any piece of your business, whether it was through just starting your business, or like you said, right now you're going through that probably that yo-yo income, and it can be about anything in your business. So, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, I mean, I have several of them because one of them was making that transition because I wasn't really finished in education. I just
Mm,
felt that I needed and I wanted to reach more families more
okay,
frequently than, when one comes in. And yes, I mean, don't get me wrong, there was never a time where I wouldn't want to support a family, but I
sure.
want to be able now to reach more people at a time. And I think that first milk crate moment was, oh my God, what does this need to look like? Because it was handy, right? Going to work every day, having a schedule, either teaching classes, because I even did that as a principal as well, because I wanted to stay connected with kids. But I found that in this transition space, it was, oh my God, this is entrepreneurialism or entrepreneurship, and it's very different. Um,
So tell us a little bit about that, how that is before you tell us your Milk Crate moment. How did you find that transition from a W-2? Because it was so long ago for me, Elizabeth, I don't even remember, right? 38 years ago for me. But when you made that shift, because I think it's really interesting because every entrepreneur, every person who's had a job and they become an entrepreneur goes through this. So tell us a little bit about what that was like first.
Well, I think it was, I mean, the whole idea that there were so many things that I didn't know that, and I don't know what I don't know yet in every regard. So it was a series of, well, I better take this webinar and I better go to this class and I better sign up for this program and I better speak with this person and I better find 10 coaches because, I don't need just one, but I need one for every single thing, I think. And so I struggled with that for a period of time because I didn't know how to put it in my schedule. And I mean, I love color coding. I'm a very visual learner. So I had a schedule or a calendar. But even with that, it was like, well, is this the most important thing I should be doing at the moment? Well, I need to do this. Well, I'll put this off. And then I got into a flurry of too much, too much overwhelm. And then I look at it and I regret the time, or I look back and I say, gee, I should have done this. And then I do the comparative thing. Well, you've been in business for a long time, so I should be doing this, right? And so it's like, okay, Elizabeth, like move all this stuff out of the way and start again. And just put some things in there that are the big boulders that you need to do every day, and put the things in there where you need to structure this time, and then weave in all the other things. So when I go on podcasts or when I go to summits or when I go to networking, I now really have to plan those things and then do them, because I'm great about putting them on the calendar and they all look great and I look really busy and so on. And
Yes.
then I say, oh, well, no, I need to be doing a booster day, or I need to concentrate on this because I have a presentation coming up. And it's like, okay, Elizabeth, just take a look at your calendar and stick to it and be consistent.
I think you hit so many of the points for small business owners that they make all the same mistakes. Number one is following every free webinar and
Uh,
every free class out there, right?
Me, yep.
Right? And I always tell people, listen, it doesn't have to be me, but find somebody that you respect and you can follow, and then follow them and get rid of everybody else, because it will do nothing but mess up your head.
Yeah.
Right? Because I may say to do something one way and somebody else says to do it another way, and 14 other people say to do it their way. Find one person you really like. I think that was really important, that what you said there, and the amount of time that you're doing it, right? And you want to know why they do it? Because they don't want to pay one coach, right? So people do this um, to avoid paying a coach to do this. They feel like they're going to get all of the stuff if they just follow enough people. And Elizabeth, you have a coach, right?
I have several.
Yeah. So, what would you agree with that? That find
Oh,
one coach and follow it, so you can,
absolutely.
yeah.
And
So
I think what happened initially though, when I first got involved was, I went to this JV community
mm,
because I thought, and it had been introduced to me like, even if you're starting, this is a place to get engaged with, having JV partners and so on. And in my own vision of that, now in retrospect, I think it was too early.
it was, yeah,
Although there were places where there was a program set up for, business essentials and foundation and so on, and I stayed with that and took those in that particular program, and then I practiced the JV partner thing, and but I felt that looking at it now, I think it was a bit too early, but at least it gave me some connections.
sure,
But then what happened with that person would be promoting somebody else, right? To say,
exactly.
oh, and here's the next thing and the next thing. And I thought those things felt like they were directed right to me. So I should go do that. So then I did that too. And then I realized again in retrospect that they were just helping to support people. And they had already been JV partners and they were out there. I didn't need to take all of those things.
Well, let's go back and hear. So I'd love to hear your milk crate moments. Let's start there.
Well, I think all of those things are milk crate moments for me.
Oh, of course, right? Because we don't just get one. It would be so awesome if we only got one milk crate moment in our business, but some of us get one every day, and some of us get one a month, and some of us get one every hour, and some get one a year, right?
Right.
What was yours?
What would my biggest one be? I I think one that really hits home, and you'd mentioned it at the beginning, is the whole idea of um, my bank account's not going to change unless I get out there and meet with people and have those conversations and be able to um, not sell them, but nurture them into seeing that I'll walk alongside them with that problem that they're experiencing. So particularly with families and their disconnect with their kids. I
Right.
think that's the piece. And I still I still hold back on that space of what I see for myself as being valued. Like I forget the 35 years that I've had. And I think because I'm in a new space of entrepreneurship that I can't possibly know stuff. I don't know that much about business, but I know my value, and I need to be able to balance that. And once I really recognize that, it gave me a new space to be able to say, okay, now I can get on the phone with people, or I can have conversation and say, yes, I can help you.
I think that's a piece of, like you said, knowing what you don't know, but also a piece of, listen, you could. I bet when you were in school, you could sell the heck out of any program to any teacher, any parent out there. But when it comes to the point where it's like you selling your own product and service, it's so, number one, hard. Number two, it's scary because everybody faces rejection and nobody likes rejection, right? And
Right.
it just makes it really tough for an entrepreneur to do that. So every entrepreneur has to learn that. And the other piece is that no entrepreneur wants to do. And I don't know if you're guilty of this or not. I know I was, Elizabeth, picking up the phone and making phone calls.
Oh, hey, my coach has indicated a series of things that I need to be doing in order for me to really, and it's not engaging in my business, but making it real as opposed to a very expensive hobby. And so I've done the networking piece, and I've done the podcast, and I've done the nurturing, and I've done all those other things. The one at the top is about claiming clients, right?
Yeah.
Or having those conversations. And I've done everything around them. I've done more than what was expected of me to get started, but that's the space that is the toughest. And then I look at it and I say, but really? Why is it when it's conversation? And my God, I just finished writing a book called Courageous Conversations.
Hmm.
What is it that I'm not stepping into for myself?
I think it's the fact that you're not having those courageous conversations yourself, right?
Right.
I love it. All right. Who helped you? Well, and it sounds like you're kind of in the middle of this. How long have you been in this entrepreneur space compared to your teaching?
Oh, a year.
Okay. So you're a newbie, right? We're going to call that a newbie. And yay for you. I give you high
High
five,
five.
high 10 for becoming an entrepreneur because it is courageous to do that. It really is courageous to do that. So, what advice would you give somebody who is kind of like you, kind of new to the entrepreneurial space? They've spent most of their years in corporate or had a job, and now they want to take that I'm going to say that leap of faith to be an entrepreneur. What's the biggest piece of advice you could give them?
That they get a coach right away.
Oh my God. Biggest I high five.
Yeah.
That's the right answer. Not because I thought you should say it, because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Especially when in my opinion, and especially when you're over 50, 55 and you want to start a second career. Because this would be, in my tribe, we call that the second act of our lives, right? We're starting our second act. So, and pretty much all of my people have done that. They've started their second act after 50 and really recreating themselves.
Yeah.
So let's talk briefly about what you do in your business.
So I'm a parenting coach. I felt that from what I had acquired and developed and journeyed along with families, I could see more and more frequently that there were disconnects with kids and families. So I would have kids come to my office, or we'd be talking in the hallway, or we'd be eating together, because eating is my favorite topic and my favorite thing to do. And so even with that, they would share that, there was yelling and screaming, or there was disconnect at home, or they weren't valued, or they weren't allowed to have a voice, or any number of things. And then parents would say similar kinds of things. I don't know how to connect with my kid. All we do is yell and scream. I don't know how to ask them questions. I don't know very much about them. And I just feel so isolated and so disconnected from them. So I want to be able to be that bridge to understand both perspectives and to be able to bring them together. And so I have, tools and strategies and a program, because I do a coaching program with families to be able to help them, move some things aside and recreate or start something new, start a new courageous conversation.
I love it. What would be one question that, if you don't mind spilling the beans on one question, what would be one courageous question that a parent could ask to get the ball rolling?
They could, and it's not even necessarily a question, but an observation and a sentence expansion or a conversation expansion. And that would be something like, you know what? I haven't seen you in a while, or I'm seeing that you look a little bit, upset, or something that addresses what you see with your kid.
Mhm.
And then you can say, you know what, I notice for myself, or in my own personal reflection of how I'm showing up for you, it's not working as well as I'd like it to. So, how about if we sit and have a conversation? And I really want to get to know you. And I know that, we might have had yelling in the past, or we might have had some different things. And I want to switch that for me. So then that way, the parent is being vulnerable and saying, this is what I'd like to do to make a change, because I don't want to lose you. Because now we know full well that, bullying is rampant. Mental health concerns are through the roof. Suicide is the second cause of death of teens. That
Mm,
shouldn't be on our radar. And
right.
so those connections hopefully will be things that will make the family stronger and the relationship stronger. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It really isn't. And this is not remotely about judgment about how people have done it in the past, but this is a place of a new, and that's why I call it courageous conversations, because it takes vulnerability, it takes courage to be able to step out of your own pattern and be able to start something new and
Wow.
ask for the invitation. That's part of it too.
And when I'm just curious, when you've had that, how receptive are the children of the parents to going along with that? I'm just
It's a
asking.
it's a mixed review, because there's distrust already set in place. There are old filters that we all have from our history, from our background, from our upbringing, and so on. And those spaces are things that show up. They show up in the way you have conversation, they show up in the way you hear, and they show up in the way you see. And so being able to move some of those away, those are conversations that I also have with teens, and say, this is, your parent is doing the best they can with what they know. And
Right.
here's some of the stuff that's heavily weighted on them to be the best for you. There was no book, there's no instruction manual. You've all arrived on this earth together, and this is a matter of moving forward. So you need to cut them some slack, allow for that space of trying something new. Is the trust going to be instant? No. But you need to trust yourself in terms of stepping forward into a possible new relationship. And this is not done by yourself. You don't have to feel like you're in a vacuum. I will be along with you to walk alongside, to give you some suggestions, to listen to what your concerns are, or the celebrations that you have in moving along.
Love it. Um, I know you have a free gift for everybody today.
I do.
I think I'm in charge of doing that. So let's put that up there. Oh my goodness. What did I do with it? You know what,
I
Elizabeth?
could I could send it to you again, June, if you'd like.
Oh, Jean, hold on.
Sure.
I've got it here. I've got it
Okay.
here. Let me put it in there. Sorry. I don't know why it went away. Let's just add that in there. So I'm going to put it here. And this was an HTTPS, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay, I think that's there. So it's not, boy, it's not like this is the first time I've ever done this. So I do not know why that is not showing up here. It's in the captions. Let's go here. And I'm just going to try second. Maybe I need a primary. That's why. I don't know. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Okay, so now let's show it there. I think is it there? There we go. That's it, right?
Yep.
Okay. And what are they going to get here?
Well, they're going to get some initial tips and tricks to start right away. And with a little bit of information about, this is an example of what could have been like, right? So, there's frustration, and there's anger, and there's yelling, and there are a couple of questions about, do you really want this kind of thing to continue? And here's something that you can do to start a new trend or a new relationship. And then there's also an opportunity to be able to book a call.
And how can they get hold of you? I'm putting it in here too. I don't know why it's not there. So
Okay.
let's add another one. Let's do it here. See if that goes through. Add. That's interesting. I'm gonna just put it here and let's see what happens. Add.
Okay.
I think it's gonna go across as like a ticker now. So let's try that.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. So Elizabeth at courageousnetwork.com, they can reach out to you if they have, there maybe somebody's really struggling out there with the relationship with their new teen or old teen or whatever that is, right? That they'd like to change. You're the
Yep.
lady to change it, correct?
Yeah, I am.
All
In
right.
some cases, some people call me the teen genie, which I think, oh, great. You can rub the side of a little lamp and, you can get at least 3 wishes.
Oh my gosh, what I wouldn't have done for a genie when my kids were teens, right? So,
Well, and you know what, Jean, the strategies and the information and the coaching that I do is for any age, because there are lots and lots of things that are happening, and parents need sometimes a little bit of a suggestion or a different kind of idea, even when their kids are little. I just chose teens because I love them so much.
wow. Yay for you. All right, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here today. I hope people got a lot from your milk crate moment because I did. And I hope people who are thinking about coming into the entrepreneurial world that may have a job now and we call them W-2s, right? That they will take that advice, right? And hire a coach
Mhm.
as soon as possible. And by the way, that's what I do. So just saying, I want to make sure I got that plug in there since you brought up coaches. Elizabeth, have a lovely day. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Jean. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure. Have a good
Have a
day.
great
Bye.
day.